Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say Shalom to Akim and Akwath out there pursuing this truth diligently. I'm coming at you with a quick lesson dealing with the digital dollar project. In case you weren't familiar with it, quite a while ago, like right as I think even before the pandemic hit out, um, there was talk of a so-called digital dollar, which was basically the U.S.'s form of a essentially not necessarily a cryptocurrency, but it was basically planning on being an officially used currency that would most likely end up replacing, the paper dollar, and it would be, stored and basically treated almost like a cryptocurrency, except it would have, federal backing. But so yeah, I was browsing through news and I found this, and I hadn't heard anything on the digital dollar in quite a bit, so I figured I'd give it a check. It's titled Digital Dollar Project to Pilot U.S. Central Bank Digital Currency. The private sector pilot programs aim to generate data that could help United States policymakers develop a digital dollar for its first time. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are the digital equivalent of banknotes and coins, giving holders a direct digital claim on the central bank and allowing them to make instant electronic payments. So what they're trying to do with this is essentially, and they say it's the digital equivalent of banknotes and coins, but what they're really meaning is that they're looking for this thing to, to replace the dollar, because right now with paper currency, they don't have enough control over the money, you know. It says the United States, right down here, the United States-based nonprofit Digital Dollar Project announced on Monday it will launch 5 pilot programs over the next 12 months to test the potential uses of a U.S. central bank digital currency, the first effort of its kind in the country. The private sector pilots will be initially funded by Accenture plc and involve financial firms, retailers, and nonprofit organizations, among others. The aim is to generate data that could help U.S. policymakers, Slovakia, develop a digital dollar. A partnership between Accenture and the Digital Dollar Foundation, the Digital Dollar Project was created last year to promote research into a U.S. central bank digital currency. So yeah, it was last year. I'm not sure if it was like right at the start um, of the pandemic. I thought it came out honestly a little bit before that, but it's been a minute. So who knows? There are conferences and papers coming out every week around the world on CBDCs based on data from other countries, said Christopher Giancarlo, former chair of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and the co-founder of the Digital Dollar Foundation. I'll look up this guy real quick. Yeah, alright, yeah. Looks like a damn demon, man. Um, okay. What there is not is any real data and testing from the United States to inform that that debate. We're seeking to generate real-world data, Giancarlo said, or added. Uh, Central bank digital currencies are the digital equivalent of banknotes and coins, giving holders a direct digital claim on the central bank and allow. Yeah, we read that already. All right. While debit cards or payment apps are a form of digital cash, those transactions are created by commercial banks based on money. central banks credit to those bank accounts. They are not fully government backed, can take days to settle, and often incur fees. Cryptocurrencies, meanwhile, are controlled by private actors, so they're trying to make this thing more like a cryptocurrency. Um, they want this thing to be fully government backed, so they can essentially, strip it from you whenever they want, which we'll get into why that would be being done in the first place. Um, what happened here? It all moved all up. Okay. Central banks around the world, including China and Europe, are revving up CBDC projects to fend off threats from cryptocurrencies and improve payment systems. As guardian of the world's most widely used currency, the U.S. Federal Reserve is moving more cautiously. It is working with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, to build a technology platform for a hypothetical, they say hypothetical, but they're pushing this thing for real, a hypothetical digital dollar. The chair, Jerome Powell, said last week that it is far more important to get a digital dollar right than it is to be fast. Giancarlo said Powell was correct to be cautious, but that as China pushes ahead, the United States must drive a discussion on incorporating U.S. values such as privacy and freedom of commerce and speech into the development of CBDCs. It's vital that the U.S. asserts leadership as it has in previous technology innovations, Giancarlo added. So, the U.S. really just wants to be a lot more like China because China has such a big control over their population, you know. They can pretty much control everything in the US government. They feel like they're losing a lot of control of their citizens. They don't have enough control over them. That's one of the reasons that all this pandemic, all the stuff that's been implemented, a lot of the stuff that's been happening during this has been a direct follow-up to the things that, China did. They're basically following all the things that their government uh, instated, the masks and all that situation that first was going down in China, and the U.S. copied it, and then you had, meanwhile at that time, the people living in the U.S. such as myself, we were still, not doing any of the masks things. Lockdowns hadn't hit yet, and then shortly before they did hit, China, went into a big lockdown. And then, not too long after that, maybe a month, is when the U.S. went to its first lockdown. Um, and the masks happened later after the lockdown was lifted. It says the digital dollar could also boost financial inclusion in the U.S., where transaction fees impede the access of many Americans to mainstream financial services, Giancarlo said. They're trying to make it seem more appealing. The pilot programs, 3 of which will launch in the next 2 months. This fucking page, man. The pilot programs, 3 of which will launch in the next 2 months, will complement Slovakia, the Fed's MIT project by generating data on the functional, sociological, business uses, benefits, and other facets of a digital dollar. The data is due to be released publicly. Accenture has worked on a number of CBDC projects, including in Canada, Singapore, and France. David Treat, a senior managing director at Accenture, this thing would stop fucking with me, said CBDCs would exist alongside other forms of physical and electronic money rather than replace them. That's, maybe for a little bit, uh, you know, says we'll be using physical cash and coins for some time. They're at first they're going to be, you know, released alongside each other, but eventually, you know, more likely than not, this shit's going to be fully implemented, and to the point where you won't be able to use cash currency anymore, because this is all going to play off, the mark of the beast essentially, you know, for profit. Heard the prophets talking about it, they've been talking about it for quite some time, when this digital dollar first came up. Um, it's not a guarantee necessarily, but you know, a lot of us think, a lot of us people that are in the truth, you know, think that this is going to be basically the currency that they're going to issue you with the mark of the beast, you know. And this is something it's non-physical, you know, it's not something that you can keep or hide. This is digital, it's tied to your name, tied to your bank, you know. So this being digital, you know, can very easily be implemented into the RFID chip, you know, which is also known as the mark of the beast, you know. Basically this thing right here, that's what they put, you know, in your hand or your forehead. Right here shows you it's got a tissue bonding cap, an antenna, and an ID chip in there. That's the main workings of what's going on. So that's going to basically have all of your information, you know, your first, last name, your social security number. It's going to have, you know, your bank information, things you're allergic to, health conditions you have, you know, basically everything about your life, where you work, you know, jobs you've had, all this crazy type of shit. You know, your convictions if you've ever been arrested, you know, where you live, bank data, everything. Everything is going to be able to store on this thing, you know. And you know, there's already people getting these things before they're actually even getting rolled out, you know. People already want these things, you know, because they're like the new iPhone. It's just new technology and people think they're cool, you know, people opening up their Teslas with them and shit, you know. Just use your damn key, you know. But so yeah, this is essentially how you're going to be accessing money, you know, eventually. Well, you know, not us, you know, how the people of the world, you know, that decide to get this thing, are going to be accessing money, you know, because you know, you can't get this thing, you know. If you get this, you're done. You're cut off for sure. You're going to be burnt up, you know. This is like the one thing right here that you don't fuck around with. This is a guaranteed path to destruction. Is the mark of the beast. But yeah. Before I get into some scriptures, maybe I can find. Um, let's see. I'll show you this real quick.
Hi, I'm Brian Zielinski from Ben's Car Audio. I'd like to introduce you to Benjamin Thompson, the founder and president of Ben's Car Audio, and he will explain some new technology that we're working on for all of our clients.
And this was back in 2007.
Hi. The technology that we're talking about is called radio frequency identification. This is a standard technology that's been in use for several years now in corporate or office kind of environments. And what we're doing is we're applying it to an automotive environment. Traditionally, it's used as an unlocking device, so you can access a door or whatnot in an office. We're using it for that purpose as an unlocking device, but we're also using it to start the vehicle. So by doing this, what we can do is we
See, he's got
start
it.
the vehicle.
He's got it on an actual little card. Um, here.
Today we're adding RFID to my car. I'm gonna put the reader right down in here. I pull the mirror off. See, there's a lot of room. This is a nice spot right back in there. I'm gonna put the antenna, and then the wires up and in and through. Because from here, unlocked.
Show that again.
Wire and hook it up. Okay, got it mocked in place here. Alarm set. Door's technically shut. Let's try it. Unlocked. And alarm did not go off that time.
Now let's see if we can actually find
Recommend
it.
anybody looking to do this themselves is
All right, here we go.
Life will be 20 minutes. It's only going to be 2 days, but I'm sure it will.
All right.
Only unlocks the driver's door, which is fine, because from here re-enables the unlock button, and I can do the rest. hit lock and close it up.
Watch
Make
that
sure
one more time.
it all is buttoned up. Put all door panel back on and make sure everything still works after that, but I'm sure it will.
See, he's gonna put his hand up under there. Yep. See, so you can do a lot of stuff with that, man. This chip can do a lot of stuff, and that's that's where they're gonna be rolling it out. They're gonna basically use this thing to track where you are, to control your life, and with that digital dollar, that'll most likely be, the new currency, and your RFID chip will essentially be, um, you know, reading your bank account from that excuse me, Slovakia. The RFID chip will basically be reading the information from your bank account where, it's storing these digital dollars, or if there's not even banks, it'll probably be more like a government controlled agency that is keeping track of this money, and more than likely before they, try to force people to get this, that money is going to be cut off, the actual physical paper currencies, you know, your credit card and all that stuff, that's going to be cut off. And they're basically going to say, oh, we're implementing the digital dollar project, and you can either get your money moved over that way. So basically, if you don't have this thing, you're not going to be able to access any of your money, and you're not going to be able to store money. You're not going to be able to have money. You're not going to be able to walk into a store and try to pay with cash because cash won't be accepted anymore. It's just going to be digital dollar, you know. But yeah, let me get into some scriptures here. This is Revelations 13 and 16 to 13 and 18. And it reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. This is Revelation, 14 and 9 through 14:11. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahushai, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb. Now, this fire and brimstone, that's not speaking of, hell. There's no such thing as hell, And what it's speaking of is the fire of those ICBM, missiles, which stands for Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. And it's this beast, that they're speaking of, and this number of a man, it's really meaning Esau, you know. And this is verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whoever receiveth the mark in his name. So if you get this thing, you're cut off. It don't matter, if you're Israel or if you're not, whatever nation you are. If you take this thing, you're burning up right here, you know, and in this world, you know. So, and it's not just gonna be, burn up and you're done, like it said, and it said this, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night. These people are going to feel like they're burning, forever. But eventually, the Edomites and whatnot will have to be put into slavery, in the kingdom, you know, but, it's not going to be pretty, when these people get this thing, Lord willing, uh, I don't take it, you know, um, this thing's going to be crazy, that's why you got to pray, because you could say, oh, I'm not going to take it, I'm not going to take it, you know, but if you're not praying, you know, um, and you're not in this thing, full-heartedly, you don't know, even if you're in the mindset right now that you're not going to take it, something could come upon you later, demons could could get all over you and convince you this is the thing you need to do, or who knows, you might bug out last minute. The Most High might not be dealing with you like that because whatever you've been doing, you decided to pick up the blunt again, you know, you decided to get with some other dude's wife, you started to do something like that, so, Yahweh Shem Shai boots you out this thing, and at the last minute, your mind's all messed up and you decide to take this thing. You never know. That's why you gotta pray constantly, man. You gotta pray constantly, and pray that Yahweh Shem Shai is gonna keep you in this thing and keep you safe, because He's the only one that can keep you safe, in these end days. You can't be putting your faith in man, you know. But that's all I really had to say on the subject. Hadn't heard anything about the digital dollar in a minute, so I saw that. I figured I'd do a lesson on it. Um, yeah, so with that, I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I'll say Shalom to you brothers and sisters. Hope the lesson was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.